Today, Rick and I are going to break down some of the highlights, some of the sights and sounds and lessons learned on our Southern Oregon coast workshop. I'm here in Brookings, Oregon, right near the Oregon-California border on the Pacific with Rick LePage. And we literally just wrapped up.
Minutes
ago. Our Southern Oregon coast workshop, and it was
pretty epic. I love all of the coast workshops we do, but the Brookings one down on the Southern Oregon coast is cool because we get the beautiful seascapes and rocks and things like that, and cool places like Secret Beach, but we also get the redwoods.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. We spent a lot of time in the redwoods this week.
I feel like the Southern Oregon coast is far enough away from any major city that you wind up with just this wild, uncrowded, little bit rougher feel to the whole natural coastline, and it's pretty spectacular. We spent a lot of time on the Pistol River.
Yes, we did.
Which is it's a place I've long held close and dear because I love to kite surf, and there it's a really long, popular wind sport spot, but it's also just this wonderful, diverse area to do seascapes. And the river comes in, there's driftwood, there's rocks, there's
starfish,
sand dunes, starfish.
Yeah,
it's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah. Not much wind though this week.
Yeah, it's been interesting. There's been almost no wind down there, which has been pretty great for photography.
Oh yeah.
And we love to do Milky Way at this time of year, and we kind of target doing these coast workshops on the southern coasts at times when we think it's likely that the weather will cooperate. And it was a little dicey on this one.
Yes, it was.
We sort of sketched it out. Well, what's the most likely day that we could do this?
Yeah.
And we pulled it off. Actually, let's take a look at some of the sights and sounds from this workshop, and then we'll come back with some lessons learned and share a couple fun stories from it. I think you can see from our images and the participants' images that this was a pretty fabulous, fabulous workshop. You know, we wound up being really careful with choosing what night to do the Milky Way.
Yeah.
Looking at the weather, it was a constant kind of like looking at what it is on the southern coast, looking at what it, you know, in California, what is it here in Brookings, what is it up in Port Orford, a little further north. And we chose to drive north till it looked good and pick the night that was the most likely to be clear, and everything.
Yet, there were only 20 minutes to do a Milky Way.
Right. That night was the shortest window because of the moon rising.
Yeah.
That we could possibly do the Milky Way. And so we trained here, right here at this house that we have rented as kind of our command center for the workshop. We got move, shoot, move set up. We got everybody understanding exactly what to do. We drilled. We got out there a couple hours before we needed to be. We got everyone set up. We talked it through. We had all of our gear laid out, and
we had great Milky Way.
Everybody got a great Milky Way shot.
Yeah. It was very impressive, I have to say.
It really was. And I found that, you know, in sort of doing the training on how to composite that blue hour foreground with that Milky Way shot, that Photoshop has gotten significantly better with complex blending where there's trees up into the sky and things like that. We'll be doing a video really shortly, both about how to set up the newer move, shoot, move, a little bit newer one than we have in our full-blown Milky Way course. You can click right here to go check out the Milky Way course that we have on the website. And it's mostly, you know, 100% relevant, except we have a new move, shoot, move.
Yeah.
We use the same techniques. And we have a little update on Photoshop being easier to do the post-production blending.
Yeah.
So what are your highlights from the workshop? Things that you're thinking?
I thought, you know, I just loved being in the Redwoods. And we were, you know, we went out for a quick jaunt to the Stout Grove.
Yeah, day one, kind of tune up, get everybody working with their cameras.
And it was sunny. People got some good images, but we were waiting and hoping for the fog.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where you want to go out into the forest with that mist and you know, and man, it was amazing.
Yeah, we picked it. Today looked like the most likely day, the last day of the workshop.
Yeah.
To go out and get a foggy forest, and we really did.
Yeah.
And another thing we learned is how critical it is in a wet woods to have
a polarizer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one of the things that I took away from this workshop. When we talk about preparation, we talk about getting ready.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you really do have to think before you go out the door, do I have all the equipment that I need to take advantage of where I'm headed? You know, and you know, it's something we say over and over again, and I forget myself sometimes.
Things happen.
You know,
we had an amazing photographer on this workshop,
Brad,
who left his polarizer behind on his trip into the Redwoods and was just lamenting it. And the reason we want a polarizer in those wet green woods is wet leaves reflect that light from the sky and get this shine off the leaves, and it really dulls the color in the forest. And the minute you turn the polarizer correctly, it cuts through that reflection. You can just see the whole forest green up and get more contrast. It's remarkable on an overcast day or foggy day how much a polarizer helps you in the woods. And it brings up an interesting point. You talked about preparation and making sure you have everything laid out that you need for a shoot. We really drill that. And it's a funny thing you said. I'm a person, you know, my wife will be the first to tell you I'm running. Where did I put my keys? Where's my wallet? Oh my gosh, you know, my phone. Can someone call my phone? Where is my phone? And Rick's like, but he always knows where his camera gear is. And the reason for that is that I'm just really particular and precise about where each piece of gear goes in whatever bag I have with me. I have a spot for each thing, and if it's not there, it's like, I'm also really particular with I worked as a bike mechanic for years, and I loved a mountain bike, and in my basement where I have all my bike tools, I have little Sharpie outlines on a pegboard where each tool goes, and when I look up and I'm like, where is my pedal wrench? Like I see the bare outline and the wrench is not there. You know, I have to have a spot where it goes, and I always put it back there.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really, you know, it's something to drill yourself into. Also with the Milky Way, we made sure everybody's camera was set up and dialed in advance.
Yeah.
So Rick, you've been shooting with a 43?
I have.
For the first time on this trip, a Leica 43, Q3 43.
I love it.
Yeah.
I really do. I'm looking forward to going to Scotland with this camera.
Right.
Again.
And I have had the Z6 III. I got my Kirk L bracket for it, which I think they make the nicest L bracket for this camera. And I've been playing around with it with a multitude of lenses from 14 to 24, 100 to 400, 24 to 120.
But you got the special lens on that one.
I just love my Voigtlander 50 1.0. And I love the look of it on the ZF and the feel of those dials and controls, but there's something really special about the viewfinder in the Z6 III. And I recently did a video all about the firmware update on this camera, which is kind of mind-boggling what Nikon gave to this camera. And shooting with this viewfinder, with this lens, has been fabulous in dark conditions on this trip. In the Redwoods, I went out with the 14 to 24 this morning and the Leica Q3 28, which I'm a 28 kind of guy. And I shot for a while, and then I slapped the 50 back on the Z6 III and started manually focusing and shooting, and it was just like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love this 50. And I can set it with its aperture because it's so mechanical at f11, and then set its distance scale so that infinity includes f11 and have everything from 4 feet away to infinity sharp and in focus. And in those woods, that was such a cool thing.
Yeah.
Just like the Leica. And I can see it in the viewfinder too, because the camera's physically stopped down. The lens is physically stopped down. The camera isn't opening it up for autofocus. It's a manual big, it was great. I love, and for portraits. I've just had a blast with it.
Yeah.
And you've had a blast with the 43 because that's more the way you see the world.
It is the way I see the world, yeah.
So it was a great time. We've had a wonderful, wonderful time. And we're going to be a couple of weeks getting work done, getting geared up, getting ready.
And then time for Scotland.
We're going to be in Scotland most of October. So this might be playing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the video schedule, but
yeah,
I'm looking forward to Scotland. We're doing back-to-back workshops.
Yeah.
We've got a great crew of people coming.
Yes, we do.
And there will be stories from those trips to share as well.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that.
And I would say a little shout out to the crew from the Brookings workshop this year. They were
Awesome.
They were a great group of people to hang with for a few days.
Really, really wonderful group of people. And it has been like the band breaking up. We always talk about in the beginning of each workshop, who are you, where did you come from, and what do you hope to get out of this? And I always say, I hope that at the last day of the workshop, it feels like the band is breaking up and it's a little bit sad. And got my wish today.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been a good one. So thanks, everybody. All right. As always, we've got links to all the gear that we use, recommend, and stand by over at hudsonhenry.com/ATS links. You can click right there. Rick and I appreciate that because it helps support all the work that we do. And I hope all of you are out there staying creative, staying safe, and we'll see you next week.